Tom Holland has been nerding out, has been scouring the internet, apparently.
Love that.
To just glean what fans want most from Spider-Man Brand New Day, hopefully to honor them and not to do the exact opposite of what they want. But he's been out here. He seems to be really kind of shepherding the whole project. I mean, I'm sure that, whoever's obviously the producers, the director are also a huge force, but it seems like Tom Holland is really making this one his own.
It seemed like a part of the negotiations. Yeah. It felt like to do for he wanted control. So I don't think that, I don't think it's personally as performative or as much a marketing ploy. I think it's real. I think Tom Holland actually made sure that he had control before signing on to this film, and that he was instrumental in, who was going to be involved and all those things. So now we get to find out what Tom Holland wanted to do in the process. And I think it's great that he is looking not the reactionary choice of fans yelling out and then someone doing it. Because if you're looking and you have creative control, then you can pick and choose and glean. But if it's just fans yelling and then being reactionary, that's the line between like fandom and fan entitlement. And that's always my concern in this new age of internet is fan entitlement causes leaks to turn into different storylines and them not always working. Fan entitlement causes people to think they have a better idea than a creator and be upset when that idea doesn't come to screen. And that's why I don't like all these leaks and like leak culture, because then fans think they've written a better movie and then they watch it and they're disappointed, but like it was never that movie to begin with, but they write their own thing. So I think it's nice when a creator looks and kind of picks and chooses what they want that suits the story they're already kind of cooking up. And that's intriguing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's quoted here as saying, quote, "I have been actively sifting through the internet and trying to understand what it is that the fans want from a Spider-Man movie," Holland said while on the promotional campaign for, checks notes, his new Lego commercial.
Sometimes you got to promote verbatim. A Lego
Thank
commercial.
you, Polygon. I think the producers at times were like absolutely sick of me, but I think it's... I don't know why Tom Holland is Austin Powers when I do.
He's definitely getting more British as he speaks.
I think the producers at times were like absolutely sick of me, but I think it's really important because we make these movies for the fans. It's an interesting thing because I have to imagine that in doing that, you expose yourself to both, yes, what people want. You probably also expose yourself to what you don't want to play into.
Yeah.
Because again, the interesting thing about social media, and you go on X, formerly known as Twitter, and you search up a topic, like you get the whole overview, the ugly, the not so ugly, the good, all that stuff in between. So I am very curious as to, like, I think that's something, it's odd. It's like you don't want everything to be market tested to hell, but you do want, I think for these kinds of movies, especially that are a lot of ways populist and they are supposed to appeal wide and they are supposed to touch multiple generations. I think that's just a nice thing. And I mean, clearly on the heels of everything with No Way Home that was so ravenous with people, like desperate to find details and having these like epic wish lists of like, I want this guy to show up. I want this guy to show up. It seems like an interesting way to also address the fact that, for as much as people certainly love the MCU iterations of Spider-Man, it does seem like they are still on the hunt for like that one that freaking nails it. I mean, No Way Home, people absolutely love.
Yeah.
I think is great, but there is, some stuff about that movie that's a little, flexible and loose. Sure. And so I feel like they're trying really hard to make this like a tight, definitive MCU Spider-Man.
I also feel, not announcing Tom Holland was looking through the internet until it was already in production was smart. Yes. Like they didn't have like an open
people
forum
planting
of like,
shit for Tom to find.
Or or people just like sending in ideas the last thing you want is people just keep mailing in scripts. This feels a little bit more organic in its own odd way. But I feel like this is a character that is so broad. I would kind of be curious what people think without it becoming fan written. I'd be curious what little elements he wanted to include. We saw some shots from the set where clearly he was doing direct Spider-Man poses. I'm wondering if certain elements of that were like, we'd love to see this. He finds a way to incorporate it. I feel like it's a lot more breadcrumb details than big story things. And I would love, if you're watching this, Tom, I would love after the movie is released, actually to sit down with me and let's talk about the things that you gleaned from the internet that you then incorporated? Because I'd love to see the things that were pulled in that you'd already had the ideas of. It'd be kind of a fun director's commentary, but like Spider-Man commentary on the things you wanted to incorporate from the fans and the things that you and Destin Dano Cretin talked about. So, Tom, I'll be reaching out. Let's talk after, because I think it'd be really fun to like do a breakdown of like these are the ideas we wanted to incorporate that the fans had.
Absolutely, you should get a couple of your own in there.
I
mean, them a wish list.
I had and have talked about some fun stuff, so I'm wondering if any of that does get incorporated, because then I'll be like, and I'll get to Leo point at a Spider-Man point.
Ooh,
some layers.
Layers. And speaking of layers,
doing the Tom point with Tom was like a life moment. I got to do the Spider-Man point with Tom Holland at the trailer event. That was pretty crazy.
I was gonna say
that was a moment.
That's if Strange Days ever becomes real, you gotta get the playback of that.
Yeah.
Underrated movie, Strange Days. By the way, go check that shit out. If you want a good ass movie, Catherine Bigelow. But if you want to have your world rocked by friggin' Angela Bassett, that's the movie. You heard it here. Speaking of layers, though, there are layers to this Spider-Man Brand New Day shit. Mark Ruffalo is out here. He's excited.
Yes.
Mark Ruffalo had this to say. He said he's looking forward to Spider-Man 4. He says, if I'm doing that, which rumors are that I am, once I get a script, I'll know it's real. But I love him, speaking of John Bernthal, and we have a common friend in Lena Dunham, believe it or not, who just adores him. He continued to praise Bernthal, saying, I can't wait to work with him. He's so funny. He's such a great actor. He plays that character like nobody else. I'm really excited to meet him. I've never met him. Dang. That's messed up.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of the MCU main ensemble cast have not ever met.
Yeah, like I feel like...
Are there 2 MCU characters who have never spoken? There must be a bunch.
It's the town is so small. I've met John 3 times. Like, it's just shocking to me that of all the premieres and all the events and like how Mark Ruffalo hasn't crossed paths. It's just funny when you find out those things. Or like, I'm always fascinated when actors do entire films together and meet at the premiere, because like they never filmed together. Like those kind of things always baffle me. But Mark, for some reason, I would have assumed Ruffalo and Bernthal had met.
Well, and they're such that guy actor. Like they're
both in a lot of stuff,
and they show up, and they're not afraid to take like a major but still supporting role.
Yeah,
So
or afraid to do like an indie film with an ensemble. Yeah. Like I'm shocked that not only have they not met, they haven't already worked together.
I'm surprised Mark Ruffalo isn't Carmi's other uncle or something on The Bear.
Yeah, they're at least 1 degree apart, Kevin Bacon wise. I'm shocked they haven't met.
So how do you feel about just the involvement of both of these characters? Again, we've talked about Spider-Man No Way Home, Brand New Day, and there are a lot of characters that are rumored. How do we feel like Hulk and Punisher are gonna kind of... What slice of pie in that pie chart do you think they will occupy?
I think we'll get Hulk becoming a Rage Hulk. That'll be his main point in the movie. His main arc will be going back to being Savage to set him up for the future. I could see that being like 15 minutes of screen time, max. I think John Bernthal will be a bit more of a co-lead. I think he'll be in it a decent amount. I think we're going to see like an actual villain take on Punisher. We'll still care about him. We're still going to be like, it's John Bernthal and empathy, but I do think he's going to be, a lot more take matters into his own hands than Spider-Man's comfortable with. And I think that'll be an interesting way to really humanize a down on his luck, doing everything by himself Spider-Man.
Hell yeah, absolutely. I have a follow-up. Lucas wants to know if you have a wish list for Spider-Man.
I'm of the mind that when I overhope, then I'm disappointed, kind of like I was talking about with fan entitlement. So mine are more elements, right? Like I don't have like certain villains or anything, because Spider-Man's villain.
You want more elementals. That's right.
Yeah, I want like a Far From Home. I want elementals. No, but like I want the great use of Spider Sense, and I'd love to see the Spider Sense used in a new way. I'd love to see iconic.
We barely had any Spider Sense
in
these movies.
I want some Spider Sense. Well, I thought it was used really well in No Way Home with the Goblin.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want more Spider Sense. I would like to see more of iconic Spider-Man poses used in organic ways. Like I think we're getting that from the look of the behind the scenes photos, but I really think the physicality of Andrew Garfield is second to none. What they were doing in the Amazing Spider-Man movies physically was mirroring Todd McFarlane art, was mirroring some old Ross Andrew and such. And I'd love to see Tom Holland get the chance to mirror some classic Spidey poses finally in the most iconic suit. I think Spider-Man 2 suit and this suit are two of the best looking, but it's also the first Spider-Man 4. So I think you've got the opportunity to do a lot of villains. I think you can do a montage. I think it'd be cool to see like Spider-Man, open it like a comic book, and every time you turn the page, just a bunch of villains. That way you can,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Do
like
a montage of like, oh, he took on this guy,
and he's been fighting this, and you just because he's got such rogues.
Quick nod to the rogues
right?
gallery.
Because he's got such a good list of rogues.
Yeah, and you could do some of the fun or more obscure, the wackier ones.
Big Wheel,
and then
Hypno Hustler,
hey,
the Slide.
Hey,
I'd love to see Swarm, a Nazi made out of bees. Not kidding.
God.
There's a Nazi made out of bees out there.
That's almost like my Spider-Man character, where he's just a man entirely comprised of spiders.
This is a
Just
man
a bunch of
entirely
spiders in the
bees,
shape of a man.
but a Nazi.
I'd
love. Actually, you know what? I do have one wish list. I don't think it'll happen. Donald Glover's Prowler. Live action.
Hell
in
yeah.
there, like Spider-Verse. I want him in there. I don't think it's going to happen because I think he's going to be a big factor in Beyond the Spider-Verse. If I was writing Beyond the Spider-Verse, he would be. So I think they won't use him in Brand New Day because that'll throw it off. But I would love to see Donald Glover. And then I think what else? A catchy theme song. I'd love to see something that feels like, our Spectacular Spider-Man journey. I think that'd be fun.
Hey, even Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man had a groovy.
Sum 41 did music on Spider-Man.
Dude.
You
That's what we're all about.
And
That's
some
what we live
Nickelback,
for.
some
Come on,
Chad
shout out.
Kroeger.
Yeah. I'm so high, I could hear heaven.
That's what we need. We need
I had
more
that
needle
soundtrack
drops.
on
Oh,
CD.
same. I did too.
I played the heck out of that.
Same.
I was a big Sum 41 fan at the time, so I was very
All Killer
excited.
No Filler is apt.
All Killer No Filler for sure. I just got Does
Is
This
This
Look Infected
Infected?
on vinyl.
How's it sound?
It sounds lovely,
Oh,
and it's on
man.
like this perfect neon splatter colored. Yeah, it's good.
Him and Avril
I had to search that
breaking
on
up felt like
Discogs.
punk mom and dad breaking up.
I know.
I remember that was like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like when Angie and Brad broke up, it was like my movie family, and when they broke up, it was like my punk family.
It's the Spider-Man connection because then she went and married Chad Kroeger.
Yes.
Dude, she traded one Spider-Man
track
musical
for another.
artist she was like, I don't want.
I'm more of a
They
track
only
3
play
girly.
what we're all about in like that one scene where he's in the
He's
car
like, I
with
really
Uncle
want
Ben, and
the
it's like
theme
really
song
low
guy.
on the radio. I want the credits music video.
It's because he was a skater boy, and she did say, "See you later,
See
boy."
you later, boy. That's true. He wasn't good enough for her.
And now he's a
R.I.P.
superstar.
Sum 41.
jamming on his guitar.
Yes.
His pretty praise. See what he's worth.
I think this should be the rest of the stream.
Just slowly.
Coded lyrics.
This is what I demand in Brand New Day. Tom, if you're watching.
Yeah.
I would like to see Avril and the lead singer of Sum 41 reunited in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Oh, that would be fun. We can fan cast
The
Avril
wedding
Lavigne.
scene where Thomas Jane shows up in Spider-Man 2, like there's like a single shot where Tom Jane's in the background canonically as Punisher, where Mary Jane runs by in Spider-Man 2 in a
did
wedding
not
dress.
know that.
But it's Avril Lavigne.
Do it.
And what's his name
Do
from
it.
Sum 41?
Derek Whibley.
Thank you. It was driving me
Yes,
crazy.
my man Derek
Whibley
Whibley.
and Avril Lavigne reenacting the Mary Jane Punisher shot in Sam Raimi's.
Oh.
Yep. These are all the things. Tom, if we don't see this, I riot. No, none of these need to be in there, but these are some fun things I'd like.
Yeah, Indiana Jake says, I really want Prowler 2 and Hobgoblin. I am also curious as to how the involvement of a Zendaya or a Jacob Batalon might work.
See, I want Hobgoblin to be like a trilogy or at least 2 movies because I'd love the mystery element of, in the comics, they drew out the Hobgoblin mystery for a long time, and Amazing Spider-Man 289 is a double-sized reveal, and it's such a good issue, and it's so powerful. I'd love for a movie to set up the mystery and then a second movie to pay it off. It doesn't need to be a full trilogy, but at least 2 movies. I want Venom introduced as the symbiote here conceptually, pay off the symbiote in Secret Wars. Like,
Ooh.
I would love if the post-credit scene of the movie Brand New Day is, a scene from Secret Wars like they did with Winter Soldier, and that is canonically putting in the black suit in the first Spider-Man. But life is finally lining up where Secret Wars is going to be happening between Spider-Man films. Give us the black suit there. The next Spider-Man film be black suit Spider-Man for a full movie. No Venom. Venom and Spider-Man 3 in this next trilogy. Maybe Venom kills Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, you can do a really crazy tie-in to all the different Venoms. You could incorporate Eddie Brock in a new way. What's his name? Alan Richardson, Eddie Brock, right there.
Hell yeah, Alan Richardson. Get that mullet on my man.
Right? A perfect 80s Venom. And you then could incorporate a whole black suit movie, and that way Spider-Man get to play on these like fears and isolation from this first film. And then the third film, you actually have a Spider-Man MCU interaction, which we never got with Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy, but we never got that option.
Yeah.
So do those things right, but set them up in Brand New Day by having like certain elements and then Secret Wars and then come back. But yeah, there's a lot I want.
Goodness. It's such a weird one because they've said they want to return to some semblance of street level, and we have all these characters and whatnot. And I'm most fascinated, honestly, by like a Punisher Spider-Man interaction, even though that's the last thing I would have even
But it's so
thought
street
about.
level.
But it is street level, and it would be one of those interesting things of like this could go any number of ways, given who we know Frank.
He's a guy with a gun that's like, unfortunately, the definition of street level.
Yeah.
Like that's the
nowadays.
world. So like, I mean, Hammerhead would be cool because it would elevate it slightly into the extraordinary, but still grounded. Like there's so many villains that suit this street level idea. And the fact that we have Scorpion is great.
If we see a Tombstone, do you think it's going to directly link to the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man take?
I don't think it'll be direct because I think they'll make him a little older. I don't think they'll do that 1-to-1 where he's like a peer, but I think they'll do something where they make Lonnie, an interesting character. I don't think it'll be one note now because we saw how good Tombstone could be.
I would like to make him less interesting. Actually.
Yes, I'd like to.
He's too much.
I don't like this co-lead Lonnie Lincoln fella.
No,
dude, I'm so excited for Friendly Neighborhood season 2 next year.
Dude,
next year's crazy.
That was such a lovely surprise, and I feel like too the way they release stuff now is really weird, and I feel like the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man release strategy, if I recall it correctly, seemed like they had some level of faith, but like they dropped all of Eyes of Wakanda, and I've heard that's actually pretty decent.
I hope they release weekly for X-Men and Fantastic and Spider-Man next year.
Yeah, because and Marvel Zombies is all coming out at once too,
that's such a shame.
Which is a fascinating trailer.
In September, they're releasing all of the only super horror Halloween
all of the Halloween
TVMA.
Like you could stretch that out for how many episodes is it? 5? 5 weeks.
Have the last one
have
come
it
out
on
Halloween.
Not that I would want to shoot on Halloween, but
no,
but yeah.
But the average viewer,
weird.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? Well, we're not. I know one thing we're not doing is featuring Mahershala Ali as Blade.
Yeah, it's another dude. It's Todd Smith or something. Or no, that's LL Cool J's real name. I forgot.
I would love an LL Cool J Blade. All right.
His confident.
His hat's like a shark's fin.
His hat is like a shark's fin, and it would have done very well as Blade. It's not Mahershala, which means we still go another year without knowing Mahershala's Blade, even multiversally.
I'm fascinated by. I mean, do you feel like that says anything, or is that just like I don't want to show up for this, I'll just get somebody else to do it?
My interpretation that's completely personal, like just my own take, and this doesn't mean it's Mahershala's, this doesn't mean it's Marvel's. I wouldn't want my first full appearance to be in a multiversal what if zombie take. If I was already Blade in my own movie and even a secondary appearance, but dude has literally said one line of dialogue in Eternals, and then if my second appearance was in a multiversal zombie thing, I would hold off. And I don't know if he still is Blade, which is a bummer because Mahershala is amazing.
I mean, that's like the biggest question mark right now, because like something like this suggests to me like, well, we're moving at least further away.
It's at least
than closer to.
And especially with how many actors, if it wasn't the Marvel universe wherein so many actors do reprise their voice work, it is very common for voice actors to step into animated takes of these characters. But what if, and this art style is so tied into them using the voice actors. Like most of the what if is the actual Marvel visual actors, so it's surprising.
It is. This whole thing was so exciting at first when they're like, everyone's gonna do the thing, and then you're like, okay, we got half of the people, and then we got half impressions, and then we got a couple of voices here that aren't even trying to be impressions.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. We got a couple. Ziploc Zenith, don't worry. We're headed towards Super Chats imminently. We will get to them ASAP. We got a couple little items to end up with. Also, Mildly Mercurial, just love an Eddie Izzard quote, covered in bees. Love to hear that. Let's see. I thought I had a thing, but I don't now. So yeah, poor Blade. Did you like the Marvel Zombies trailer? Did you guys in the chat like the Marvel Zombies trailer?
I watched it. I just didn't.
Oh,
because I'm gonna watch the show.
All right, cool.
Like
It's probably for the better.
More
honestly.
and more, I just don't watch trailers if I'm gonna watch it. So I'm
Do you
sure
know anything about it?
someone will take that as a slight,
Okay.
but it's not. It's the opposite. I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Like I watched the 28 Years Later trailer, even though I'm gonna watch that movie because I was like, what's Nia DaCosta's eye on this?